Welcome to the Let It Bleed podcast, a place where you can hear the liquor-fueled ramblings of two narcissistic wizards who conjure the essence of inspirational people every week and bring it straight to you.
Just how do you plan on doing that? Magic. Motherfucker.
And now for the wizards themselves, David Amaya and Phil Arroyo.
What's up, man? It has been a long time.
I missed you,
It's
baby. It has been, oh man. I'm still
Like
just
what,
trying to get
3
back
weeks
into the
now?
fucking groove. Yeah, no, it's been close to 4 weeks now. That's kind of
Oh,
crazy,
it feels-
man.
Yeah, I feel like I just, was spit into this vortex and like just chewed up, flattened out, and then just, get molded up by like all these people and put into this big old ball of clay and then just like thrown right back out of the vortex.
That is
into-
fucking insane. So my story is not nearly as transformational, I'm sure. I am way more interested in hearing what the fuck happened to you, sir.
I don't know. I think you could really just go ahead and play that one video that I think Appleby was the one who shared it on my wall that I then shared with everybody else who was part of our camp, and we all got the same response because as as satirical as that is, or as just how like
You're talking about the guys like somebody's like, so how was Burning Man? And they're like,
Yeah,
how was
yeah,
Burning
that
Man? How
Yeah,
wasn't
that guy.
Burning Man? Burning Man's the
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Oh man,
Exactly,
I'm just
because-
so conscious about being that guy. Yeah.
Well, it's funny because the thing about it is that no matter how hard you try not to be that person, when you are talking about it to people that haven't gone, you're going to sound like that person.
Oh, dude.
even if you're not saying it as pretentious or as
Yeah.
crazy as that. Like I purposely did not say anything to some of my friends when I got back. Like I was just like, okay, I already know that they're waiting for me to come back and gloat about this and just brag, and they're just waiting to talk shit and hate on it. And so I didn't say anything. And then they were like, so you're just not going to tell us about what happened or what's going on? And then I was just like, I didn't want to. But then as they start asking questions, I start giving responses much like the ones that were given in the video, except not like in a sincere way, like as sincere as I could. It was hard to explain or to put in words for them to understand. And so then the wrath of that comes from them, like, oh, you're so pretentious now about it. And so I was like, I give up, just go, let's go next year. And let's just, you'll see, and we'll have fun. But, for the sake of the show,
I am
explain.
very interested in it. I say fuck all that and the haters and the
Yeah.
people who are going to talk shit, and especially from me and an audience who generally has dipped a toe in that kind of world. But this always being the holy grail, I'm sure myself and everybody else is not going to judge you any more than we normally would, which is already quite a bit.
Right.
But this is no exception to that. So I say,
Yeah,
fuck it.
yeah.
Fire away, man. What kind of magical shit happened on the other side of that wardrobe?
Well, I have to start off by saying that it really is nothing like anything else that is out there. Like, yeah, if it obviously would help if you have had experience with going to, like transformational festivals where you camp and, have to, take care of yourself and bring all your shit. But like the radical self-reliance being one of the principles, it takes it to a whole new level. But I guess, let me go back and kind of try to start somewhere else by saying, all right, let me first start by saying that I was one of those people too, that was already kind of just like jaded or just, I guess you could say bitter about Burning Man prior to going.
There's a
Like, I
certain
was one
level
of the-
of sour grapes, especially those of us who have gotten so close to it, but still realize
Yeah.
that it's such a fucking endeavor. It's so difficult to actually do and make happen. That
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
I'm
exactly.
jealous. I'm not gonna say
And
pretend
so-
I'm not.
Right. So there was a thing that, I would have to hear it from so many people because everybody would always ask after, hearing all my stories from other festivals or other events or things that I've done or traveled and seen. Everybody always asks, like, have you been to Burning Man? And it just was like this. I would always just kind of like scoff at the question because it's like, oh, really, like I got so tired of feeling like, you had to go to Burning Man to really experience something. And I guess the main reason was because going is such a challenging thing if you aren't guided in a certain direction or at least have like a certain push or assistance. Like one of the big reasons why I didn't Yeah, one of the big reasons why I didn't go to begin with was always because of a time, the timing being that it was in the summertime and there was always something going on very close to it that required my days off as well as my money. And, also really taking that leap to go and search for tickets because, I'm sure so many people who have tried to get tickets before in the past or have heard horror stories about trying to get tickets, and especially, after they sell out, trying to get, trying to get tickets to third party.
I can imagine, of all things, to get like scalp tickets for the level of fucking prep that goes into it, and then to just get, oh, dude. Damn.
Get scammed,
and
just totally fucked. Yeah. So, all of those things were stuff that were just kind of holding me back. And all the people, all my friends that over the years from different camps that have kind of been building it up and telling me like, you'll get there when you're ready. You just got to set the intention and put it out there. And then so it's like, okay, yeah. And I kind of truly didn't really care or want to go at those points. But this year, and it happened really close to the burn, like if you would have asked me back when I went to Desert Hudson, it definitely wasn't in the books, and it just kind of worked out. And I really honestly owe this so much thanks and gratitude to Marilyn Garcia and Riley Nance, the power couple that actually were the mom and dad of our camp, that really, just like they kind of pushed for me even when I said I wasn't going to be down to go as a drummer, and not only go with a camp and get a discounted ticket, but to go and, be part of the great circle, like kind of, aside from the temple burn, which is, the man burn, which is the most important event at the burn, the most important part of it, and being closest to the actual burning of the man, aside from the fire rangers. It was so surreal to how it all kind of fell into place, and like money really shouldn't have been there for me to do it, but it was, and it was a lot of prep. I mean, I explained that in the previous messages. So anyway,
we talked about all that. So what happened?
You get there and like it's just fucking like going into a portal, man. So I went with a fellow fire spinner, part of the conclave. Her name was Marky. She needed a ride, so we rode up together, and we left. The day before, I had gone to a wedding, and freaking got back. It was supposed to leave by 8 p.m. Didn't leave like Orange County till midnight. So we're driving through the night, already exhausted. On that 395 where it's just dark in the desert, your eyes. Like when I was younger, I used to be able to drive forever. Like now, my eyes were just like, whoa. So
all
we were
on
both,
your way to like a 15-day gauntlet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So we go and we're both trading off, and then we finally get I just typed in Black Rock City on my phone, not really following the directions of what other people the directions that other people, or the routes that other people took. So we didn't actually go to Reno, and our plan was to go and do a last minute stop in Reno before getting there and do like some last minute shopping, just like groceries and stuff, so that it doesn't spoil in the car ride, whatever. And it took us on this really beautiful, like scenic route around everything, and I guess we bypassed Reno and we end up in Gerlach. And when we get to Gerlach, which is like the last little town about 10 miles south. 10 miles south.
That sounds like somewhere that people like you get murdered.
No, it does.
That sounds like a Texas Chainsaw ass neighborhood.
It's like, it does sound like that, but when you get close to there, they have these things called bazaars or bazaars. I don't know what the fuck they're called, but they're just
bazaars?
like they're bazaars.
They're markets.
Yeah, they're like these. They're like these. Yeah, I guess I've never, prior to that, I never knew the term. Okay. They just sell like Burning Man stuff, like goggles and clothes and like last minute accessories.
Of course.
But we're like, yo, where can we go, get food and stuff? And they were like, oh, well, like the nearest town's about, like 20 minutes that way or whatever. And we're like already so close. Like from where we are, you could see the dust storm. There was already a dust storm on this playa to where it was pretty much just like a curtain.
I would be so
drawn across.
Unreasonably pissed if we had gone 20 minutes in the wrong direction, could see it, and then went fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And so, we were like, oh, and it also turned, we made the right decision by not going back to get it. We said, I think we have enough. We'll make it work, because when you go to a lot of other festivals, your primary concern is like, we want more booze. We want more this and that. Well, the cool thing about Burning Man is that when you're there, there's no shortage of booze at any of the camps that have bars that just pour you free alcohol. So, that's one thing, not to condone not being radically self-reliant and bringing your own shit. But we decided to move forward, and, we go into the line, and once we're in the line, that's when it seemed as though we went through this portal. And so, there's like just dust, this like whiteouts, where you literally can't see a foot in front of you, or just barely past the windshield. Like you can't even see the hood of your car at some point.
Shit.
So you're and you're obviously at like the entrance and the exodus are they're unlike any other festival that you've ever been to. The Eclipse was pretty gnarly, but this one is like you're parked in your car for like 20 minutes at a time. You might move a couple inches because they do very thorough checks, and there's so many people. And I would say that there's at least twice as many RVs as there are cars going into this thing at this festival, because it's at this city, because
you can't have cars.
Like unless you're bringing your car, like I had a car pass, everybody brings RVs because not only do they need to bring a lot of shit for their camps, but they also have to bring their stuff, and it's just a little nicer camping in an RV. But we did the tent camp. Anyways, we get past that, we get to will call, get our ticket, and then we go and we're greeted by the most awesome people, and we do like the virgin burn greet where they get you and make you go like onto the floor and do dust angels and stuff like that, make you roll around in it and get you acquainted to it, because you have to, that's the one thing.
I'm guessing this is different than angel dust, correct?
Yes, a little bit different, though I'm sure you could probably
though similar
find
in
out
other
there somewhere.
weird ways, but that happens to be a coincidence. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and then you bang this bell and you like say, I'm a burner or whatever, and then they welcome you in, and then then you're in.
Say,
so
I'm a
we
burner?
Go, yeah, I'm a burner.
That's their... Oh, I don't know. I feel like such a group of creative people would come to something better than that.
Well, it could have been that every single person or every port of entry was different because they're all run by different people. I don't know. It's that's what they had us do. And we were a little bit we were drunk already, so it didn't really matter. We were just like, it was a very, very long line.
Nobody was under the impression otherwise. Don't worry.
Yeah. So, going back to what I was saying, I'm really glad that we actually did decide to go forward with it too, because if we had gone back, we would have been stuck. It would have taken us probably a half a day.
The line went back
not
to
longer.
Gerlach, I'm sure.
Well, because somebody actually, it was a very tragic accident. An RV, like in, I guess, the dust storm must have ran. I guess they came and they flipped over, or it might have been a little bit further back. I guess some major RV accident happened.
Oh,
and
shit.
it held up traffic for a long time. So we had beat that. We got in, and we drinking was a bad choice. We quickly
Wait, all those
learned,
banana peels you guys were throwing out the window behind you on your way there. Oh shit.
No, well, I'm saying once we get into having to set up and everything, because our camp was mostly set up already by the early arrival people, by like Riley and Troy, who had done an ungodly amount of work to set up our camp the way that it was. It was insanely freaking beautiful and professional, and it was amazing that they could fit all of this stuff in a single trailer and haul it up there to have this available for all of us to do. So as everybody's still
it looks cool
doing
as shit,
that,
man.
yeah, as everybody was there for already a few days doing that, and kind of setting up, we had to come and simultaneously help with whatever we could with that, as well as try to set up our own shit. And it was not the most fun while you were drunk.
Of course not.
But anyway, you get through it and you're there, and you just, I'll skip over all the details because I just want to tell it like minute by minute. But, your camp and the whole city that is created is one thing. Like, it's
When's the moment
coolest
that it
thing.
like hits you?
Okay, I'll tell you the moment that it really hits you is when you go out onto the playa. Like, you get out of the city, and we were pretty. So there's a big half circle that you've probably seen
Yeah.
photos of the whole city.
Yeah, I've seen the
It's,
aerial.
it's impossible to really like understand the scope of that until you were there, and until you're out there at nighttime. Like, when you're
Mhm.
out there at night, you kind of, as the sun's going down, and you kind of cruise out and you start to see all the lights of the art cars and the installations and stuff on the open playa. Once you get out past the Esplanade, it is insane
Mhm.
how big it is. Like, I could, so many people told me that, and I was like, yeah, whatever, like, blah blah blah. But it's you cannot do everything and see everything in 1 week.
Yeah,
Like, I
doesn't
don't
sound
care
like it.
if you I don't care if you wake up and you like make it a plan to go do it all. You might get most of the art installations out
Can you
there
imagine
on the
like the
playa.
mom with her itinerary like there like okay then we're gonna go to the to the giant pirate dildo bar and then after that we'll swing by the invisible hookah lounge.
Yeah, and and that's the thing, is that they do a very good job of like putting out these books that have listed events, workshops, all of these things that are pre-listed for you to go check out, which I've never been good at checking, and I still didn't. I kind of just rely on either finding up by rolling up on it or somebody in the group knowing about something. But anyway, even with those, they always say it's Burning Man time, because on Burning Man time it's always late, if not 15 minutes to a half hour to an hour late, and it's, you just go with it because you didn't pay for a ticket to come for this big production. You are not a spectator at this event. That is one of the biggest thing,
Yeah.
radical self-expression. Their big thing is that there is no such thing as a spectator there. You are part of it, and you have to create the experience, and that's what it is. Burning Man is a lot of work. You're constantly working not only to build, maintain, and put in your work to provide and gift people an experience on the playa, but you're also fighting to like survive, because the conditions, like,
They're
it
harsh.
sounds like an exaggeration, but really, if you're drinking out there during the day, like, and it's as hot as it is, and by the way, this year was said by many to have been way, way, way kinder to everybody, like, than previous years in terms of the wind,
Oh, like it
dust,
was a
and
good
heat.
year.
Like, it was a good year,
Oh, okay.
and so with that, I'll still say, fuck, man, it would, riding around out there during the day, it's a challenging thing, especially like in the middle of the day. And I had a couple instances myself, especially at the very end, the last day, when I thought that, I had kind of made it through. I thought I was in the clear, and I thought, oh, that wasn't so bad. And then, the playa, it has a way of, like I said,
Soon as you let your
chewing you
guard
up
down.
and spitting you out. Yeah, and the thing about that place is, if you are somebody that believes in coincidences, you will surely find that there is no other place in the world where they occur more. I don't believe in coincidences. I believe that this place is just full of fucking magic, because the energy that goes around this place is all positive energy. People are not they're not unhappy there. Like, you don't see people that are like in bad moods. People that go out there, for the most part, are there because they're like, there's something that sets them apart. They're fucking down, and they're down to have a good time. And the best part about the whole thing for me was seeing people in their 60s and 70s, almost even out
Oh, that's
there.
rad. I like that.
Yeah,
I like
and
that.
little kids. It is not what people would think about just being this big party out in the desert. Of course there is that big party out in the desert, but you were also the people building that party, bringing that party, and there are still rules. There are definitely rules out there. There's no rules in terms of like self-expression. Like, you could be completely naked anywhere you want, pretty much, and you would absolutely see lots of that, which it was extremely liberating. I never thought I would go into a dance party watching Alex and Allison Gray live paint a mural while being surrounded by dancing to really awesome Jungle House in this huge circus tent with hundreds of naked people, men and women, all at the same time, and experiencing a phone party. But I did this 3 days I did this 3 days in a row, simply because it was the most refreshing, non-sexual thing you could think of. It's not in any way like that. It was the most liberating experience because, you're freaking just you're hot and I could go through a whole other festival and not take a shower, like 3 or 4 days. At Burning Man, you want to take
was that the Dr. Bronner's thing?
Yep, the Dr. Bronner's thing.
Oh, okay, I've heard of this. I heard of this. Damn.
Yeah. I
don't know why I didn't realize or think about it like that. Okay, I guess everybody would be naked, probably.
Because at certain other festivals, like Lightning in a Bottle, they do it's not a naked thing. Like you go in a bathing suit or whatever.
Yeah, I've done that.
Yeah,
actually.
this one. Yeah, this one, like it's like everybody, you didn't have to, like there were certain girls that didn't go fully like naked or whatever, guys as well. Although actually I didn't see any guys that didn't go completely fully naked. But like, the thing that they really focus on in this long line while you're out there is there's like a theme behind it explaining, like going back to a million years BC, how we are all just what is it? What's it?
Mitochondria?
Science. No, not mito. It wasn't mitochondria. We're all part of the same amoeba. That's what it was. We're an amoeba, and they have these activities to like shorten the line where you go and you band together and you have to go find sugar and protein from some random stranger and you bring it back. Anyways, then they take you in there and then you're through like the Neanderthal age, and then, their whole point is to explain that, we are all made up of cells, and that is a reason why we should all just understand that there is no reason to disrespect anybody else or look at anybody else in any other sort of way. So when you're there, like it's totally freeing to just be completely naked around people and just be people and, feel refreshed and not even like worry about anything else, and that was awesome.
God,
so
damn.
Yeah.
No, that just like that hit me. Oh yeah. Fuck. That's beautiful.
And they really, 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 really talk so much about consent, which is a great thing. They're very, very big on consent.
Yeah.
Explaining yes means yes, no means no, maybe means no, means no. It's just very much clear on that. And so there's a lot of responsibility taken during this event, and so there's rules such as that. And the thing is that there are police officers there are sheriffs there, that you are not just free to go and just do drugs out in the open. In fact, you will see so much less of that than any other festival, because people do stuff, don't get me wrong, but they don't do it out in the open, unless they're taking the risk, because there are cops, and there definitely are undercover cops.
Mm-hmm.
And every bar, because there's bars seems like every other camp has a bar that you can ride up and you go, but you have to have your own cup and you have to have your own ID. You have to have your ID on you. So like even if you're, in your 50s, you have to have your ID. They will not give you any alcohol unless you have your ID. So there are definitely very, very, there are rules set in place still.
Oh, that's interesting. Like I wouldn't have thought that.
Yeah. Absolutely. And of course, the only thing that you are allowed to buy there is ice, and it's very necessary because your ice will fucking melt. And a lot of people would take and use the melted ice to, take a shower or, even drink in some cases. But yeah, definitely, if you ever go to this thing, you got to drink more water than any other place for sure. I definitely did. Kind of ran close to running
That's
out there.
Good advice in general.
Yeah. But,
Just
in terms
drink
of
more water with your crusty ass lips, people.
Yeah. In terms of getting what you need out there, though, like the saying the playa provides really is such a true thing. Like, when you really need something out there, you will find it. Or and because gifting is a principle.
Well,
And
why don't you explain the gifting economy that like
the gifting account. Yeah, okay. So there is no money accepted at Burning Man for anything. They don't have corporate sponsors of any kind. They don't, they just don't sell things. They don't have soda stands or burger stands or food stands. But what they do have are camps that come each year specifically to, gift as part of their gift to the city of Burning Man. Will provide meals for people each day. So like we were right next to a spot called the Sunrise Diner, which is right on the corner from where we were. Like, and from 9 o'clock, or from, was it 8 or 9? I think it might have been from 8 to noon or 9 to noon every single day. You could go get a sausage and egg and cheese sandwich and some coffee. No, nothing special, no hash browns, no nothing. But trust me, when you're out there,
that sounds.
This is and it's free, and it's the way
like
that
I
they
would
cook.
just weep every morning with like, oh my god, you people need to be beatified. You are saints.
Yeah, and so you wait in this line, but in line you meet. I don't think that there's any other place where meeting strangers is as comfortable than at Burning Man. You just meet people and you talk to people and you strike up these conversations, and it's the coolest thing. So that's just one example though of like this city that gives and feeds people. If you just know where to go, or you just stumble across it, you'll be gifted that. Lots of camps are just there's a place there called the Circle J, which is a mockery of the kind of like a play on Circle K.
Circle K, of course.
And so you go, and I actually didn't get a chance. I passed by it, but I never went in there. That's one of the things that I'll have to do next year if they're still there. But
wait, so that wasn't just a name?
No, it's called the Circle J, where you can go and you could get these, whether it's like snacks, I think, or I think it's mostly, I could be wrong because I didn't go and inspect closely, but I think that it would be like things that you can go to the Circle K and get that you might need, like maybe even like, I don't know if it's toothbrushes
you're saying like I stayed away from there, I wouldn't go in there and shit like that, which is making me like, wait a minute, is this a Circle J?
I didn't stay away from it. No, I heard about this, and you could see it. So like when you're going somewhere, sometimes you don't have the time to stop on your way to and from certain places, and so I passed by it a couple times, but I just never actually stopped to go in there. But from my understanding, they have these things, but
okay.
Instead of money, they'll like kind of get you kind of like to do little like answer me this riddle sort of thing, or like get you to do some sort of something,
I would fucking crush that.
Yeah, and so
I would go just to do that.
Oh, okay.
Just to be the guy coming up with riddles and shit for people.
So get this, another thing with the gifting. I was gifted by my own campmate and the guy Riley Nance, who I'm hoping to get him and Marilyn on this show very soon. To talk about the experience and everything that they've been putting together. But I was gifted by them the camp megaphone to be a heckler for the camp, to draw people in on the street.
That's fun. Oh, yeah. That is my shit.
Yes, you would have loved it.
God
so
damn it.
That's
literally what I was doing in Seattle. Oh man, okay.
Yeah, so we have a trampoline right there, and so I'd go and jump on the trampoline, try to draw people in riding their bikes to come to the trampoline, to come to the bar, to come to the other stuff. And so there was nobody appointed to this. It was just kind of like lying around, and I picked it up one morning and I was sitting there, and so these people were riding by, and I don't even think what I said was like very funny. I think it was just like really simple, but Riley just started busting up. I don't even remember what it was, but he just started busting up laughing and was like, okay, that's your job now. You're the heckler. You are the guy that's going to like bring people in. And so it just kind of became my thing, and it came in handy when we would go out at night if we were trying to stay in groups together. I mean, it's still, even with this, was extremely difficult because you could literally just be riding with somebody and turn around 1 minute and they're just gone. Like you have no idea where they are because, it's this vast open space, and there are so many freaking people riding bikes with lights on them.
And I'm guessing just because you have like T-Mobile, you weren't getting great service out there. 1, maybe 2 bars, right?
That was a joke, right?
Yes, that was a joke.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was
you're
like, I wasn't
completely
sure.
fucked if you guys get lost. Yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. So we had the megaphone, and it helped keep as much of us together as we could. I was like, freaking herding the sheep and shit, getting to places, but also for meeting people, especially girls. There was definitely like some
There's no
better moments
doubt
for
in my
just
mind
messing
that
around
you
with.
took good advantage of the situation.
Yeah, well, not as much as one might think.
I
Like
mean,
I
like that
said,
being
you,
a motivator.
yeah,
Never mind.
yeah, yeah.
I get
You
what you're
live.
saying. And I'm saying what you're saying.
I'm
Yeah.
saying that like you live and you learn, and in retrospect, there were opportunities missed because I was kind of doing what people advise you to not do at that burn. One of the things that people say, and they actually tell you this in the beginning when you first come in, is like, hey, just a piece of advice: if you are in a moment, at all in the burn, don't leave that moment to go somewhere else. Like stay there and participate and experience that moment, live in that moment instead of worrying about where you got to go. Because, I after coming back and being more intrigued and watching like documentaries that were from some time ago of the evolution of Burning Man and how it came to be, and like obviously the earlier days were much more gnarly, much more radical in terms of like the cacophony and the type of people that would go and participate and bring out things. Now it has gotten so big that you really can't escape the fact that there are kind of those sparkle pony palaces out there, like stages that are designed to be more like a Vegas like party than things. And in some aspects or some respects, that's really cool. I think that you have that. And I'm not going to lie and say that some of those nights the parties weren't fun, but going into it next year, I really am going to be less about trying to go with the crowd of people, because they did have some pretty fucking big names there. Like you have big names like Carl Cox, Closey, Diplo, freaking Flume, all these headliner. Yeah.
So wait, sidebar. Were you there? Did you see that shit? What happened with Flume?
I did. No, the funny thing, I have a funnier story about Flume, first of all, about trying to see Flume with Kevin on a certain night. But what I told people was, compared to like the stuff that goes on or the stuff that was going on out in Deep Playa over at the other Ratchet art cars way, way, way out there in Deep Playa, like especially for sunrise sets, that Diplo shit was some Mickey Mouse shit compared to like some of the stuff that I saw.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
so is it like bad neighborhoods on like the Playa?
No, it's
that's
not.
what it sounded like.
Just,
like it gets gnarly, like the deeper you go.
It's just, dude, like you're up at sunrise, out way the fuck out there. Ratchet shit's gonna happen. You're partying.
Like not to tease it out, but like Flume eating ass on the stage during like a sunrise set or some shit like that.
No, that was during a regular set, and it was like at night.
And I know I was with Bowie, and Bowie's like, dude, look at this shit. And I'm like, what the fuck?
I was told later that was his girlfriend. So.
Oh yeah, no, that's what I also heard.
Yeah, so I mean, in one way, it brought a lot of buzz to him. I know Kevin was like upset with that because he thought like, I don't know, Kevin was
how
on a
am I
different
gonna
trip.
one up that now?
No. Like, so Kevin really wanted to see him badly because on one night, everybody was like ready to go and check out all this other stuff, and I wanted to go see Carl Cox, but as I said, I don't follow, like, I don't look in the books or the times and stuff, so I just trusted the word of somebody else, and I don't know whether they lied to me or not, or they just got it wrong, but we went pretty far to go see him, and he wasn't at where they said he was. And so I was like, okay, well, fuck it. I know Justin Martin's supposed to be playing over here at Powell Palace. And Powell Palace, if you do not know, was Desert Hearts' camp, which was fucking going off the night or two before that. But this night, it was kind of already starting off to be, it was just Kevin and I on our own. And, he was coming out there for me because he is not really as much of like a techno house guy. He wanted to go, there was like a stage that predominantly did bass music, which is where Diplo and Flume ended up playing. It's called Camp Q. Also, Kevin played there. Nice. Also, Connor Friends Connor and Timothy Leary and DeMoth all play there, and it was really, really dope to see them. But back to what I was saying, trying to find Pile Palace, I wasn't feeling it. Super tired, just wasn't feeling good. And Kevin's like, oh well, we've looked long enough. Flume's about to play. We gotta go check him out. I don't want to miss him. He's going off and off about how Flume's like one of his favorite producers, and he's gonna be one of the best people to see there. And so I was like, okay. So I just decided to.
Great show.
I know. I've seen it, and I definitely was down to go, but I was already in like the spirits of just not wanting to do anything. But I'm not about to leave Kevin. Yeah, so I, decide to bust out some acid and take some, and hopefully that was going to keep me awake. But man, like, it's like after the first few days, the day or two, you're just, your feet and your ass from riding on the bike are just getting, getting super sore and acquainted to this lifestyle that you're living, just going around. And so we get out there, and Diplo's still playing,
like getting ready for that shit.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And so Diplo's set is going on, and it kind of was just the shittiest show of the whole thing. If there was, at least from what I saw, if there was a reason why people complain about it getting too big and like drawing a certain crowd from Burning Man, I would have to say that from my experience of seeing it, that was it. Because it was more, just like, Kevin was upset the whole time. He's like, hey, he's not playing anything new. This is all old shit, and I had to remind him. I said, Kevin, like, this isn't, a music festival per se. Like, there are no, like, Live Nation's not here putting these on. These are all renegade stages that have just booked these people who are probably coming out and they're playing easy sets because they mostly want to party, like they want to party. I don't think that they're coming out and dropping like, the most profound set, that there is. But he was under the impression that like, these artists, if he was, playing these stages, as he said, like I would want to be pushing my artistic boundaries, which made sense. And anyway, all of these, the crowd was just crazy. And so we ended up going, and we like find this art car a little ways back where we could sit down waiting for Flume to come on. And so I'm laying down this art car, and we're like, at this point in between getting the runoff from another stage of sound, and then there's another art car, and all these art cars that are going around have their own sound. And for some reason, this art car parked watching the Diplo stage is still playing this like heavy trap like bass music that's just clashing with it. It's like, why are you doing this right now? So Kevin, with the robot ears that he has, being that producer that he has, is just going nuts because he's like, I can't concentrate.
Yeah.
And by the way, Burning Man is not the place for you if you are like that, really, too, because like my guitar tuner wouldn't even work on my guitar because of how many different frequencies and vibrations were going around that place at any given time. There is just so much, so much. Even in our Fire performance, you could not hear our drum thing because not only all the 26 other drum circles playing, but all of the art cars playing house music, just like these clashing beats. Anyway, we're sitting there waiting. Then we see one of our friends on a scooter. Jeremiah comes by, and he's like pissed because he just woke up, and he woke up to like his friend's gone and taking his like scooter lock. So he didn't have a lock for it. So he just in like his frustration just like saw us there, thought we were chilling, I guess, and just decided to leave his scooter for us to watch it, and takes off to go walk and find them in this crowd.
Oh,
then, like,
shit.
Yeah, and then so we're like sitting there, Kevin's just like,
like
what the fuck is this guy gonna come back and pick up his fucking scooter? I was like, dude, I can't leave it, he's like, he's hooked me up and taking care of me this whole time. So we're like sitting there watching it, and Kevin's getting mad because Diplo was supposed to be done and Flume was supposed to go on, but it just wasn't sounding like that. All of a sudden, like, this hard style starts being played, and he's like, what the fuck is this? So he investigates and realizes that, it's still Diplo just playing crap music.
Oh, right.
And I guess Flume didn't show up. So everybody kind of just trickled out. Later, they said he showed up way later, but so he didn't show up, and, this is all just, like, series of events that are just frustrating the fuck out of Kevin, and I just couldn't stop laughing.
That
It's
sounds
like
hilarious.
I was
Objectively,
I was just
you're not alone there.
yeah,
Like I would have been
yeah.
laughing my ass off at how mad he was because I can feel that situation. I feel like I know how fucking angry that made him.
Well, yeah,
Oh
because this is Burning Man. This is like what like any like experienced burner would probably try to really just ram into you and be like, well, fuck your plan, fuck your burn, fuck what you wanted. That's the saying, fuck your burn, like fuck what you like, want to do. Just like live in the moment, fuck your expectations, let those things go. And so I just like laughed it off and. Poor guy, I wanted to go back and like we went back to camp and we were going to try to figure something else out, but it seems he had a short life every night where he would come back and after being like on a level 10, I'd go to the restroom or something and come back and he'd just be like knocked out like in his tent and like there was no waking him up. So
Hmm.
I was like, all right, well, I'm chilling, and decided to ride out by myself to go see a sunrise at the Robot Heart and Mayan Warrior mashup, Damian Lazarus sunrise set. And it was kind of in the beginning it was kind of emotional because like I was out there by myself and kind of felt lonely. And the thing about the Burning Man is that the reason why it pushes everybody to their wits end is because of just you're on this emotional roller coaster, all the energy that is going up and down, the highs and the lows, and you're riding it out there. And so you're if you're a person that doesn't really feel emotion, like, and you go out there and you don't, there's something wrong with you. Like whether it's going to the temple and experiencing that's its whole other thing, or
Yeah.
just like having your own emotional roller coaster because of the trials and tribulations that you go through and your highs and your lows. Like I cried so much and it was beautiful. It was a beautiful feeling to
Yeah.
go and just like watch this sunrise, all these people. One of my beautiful sculpture, one of my most favorite and beautiful sculptures that was out there, I posted it on my social media probably the most so far. This sculpture is called Broken But Together, where it's just this, kind of looks like two silver surfers like holding each other, holding hands, but like parts of their body are missing, but they're still together. And it was just this beautiful moment where it was kind of a bittersweet thing, a little bit melancholy because I was like obviously enjoying the view and the moment for what it was, but I was a little lonely, and seeing couples and friends and things of that nature. And then sure enough, just, going back with my bike, I run into like a large group of friends, and then the whole day shifts and, the whole morning shifts, and it just becomes a huge party again. And, there was so many moments like that. I think out of the 7 days that I was out there, I saw 5 sunrises. And so,
Wow.
yeah,
Shit,
it's,
man.
yeah. And all of
That's
them
cool. And
epic.
I can kind of like trying to compare that to experiences I've had before. Like I know how strongly it can feel like a whole like an emotion like that, that feeling of loneliness, how you feel it so strongly, and how that shift can happen when when you found you get back into with everybody again, and how that could feel like a whole
Yeah.
other day,
Well,
and
that actually, yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, I
Sorry.
was just gonna say, like, that sounds like, yeah, no, I'm feeling that. That sounds like why it feels like such a adventure. Like that just clicked in for me. Like why it can seem like, oh, there's so many chapters to this shit. It just feels like forever. Like I can imagine completely losing
Yeah.
track of what real life is.
Well, it definitely it happens for the better and it happens for the worst, and it definitely got the better of me a couple days after that. The
Oh,
day after
yeah.
the man burn, the very last day. That's a whole other story.
Well,
So
I'm sure like that is just crashing through the stratosphere with no spacesuit on.
yeah, well, so you go, and my impression, or at least what I thought was going to happen, because you go by the third or fourth day, you're kind of, or by the fourth day, like which is the day you would have already been home after another like long festival. You kind of start to get over it, like by the fifth day, and you're like thinking like, okay, well, I'm just gonna pack up, and as soon as the man burns, I'm just gonna take it easy and get ready and go. I don't even think I'm gonna stay for the temple burn. All of that, all those feelings go over
Mhm.
go into your mind, because you're like, dude, I'm just like fucking, I'm over it. I'm tired.
Yeah.
You're gonna reach that point, and the exact opposite happened, as I subconsciously knew that it would. We go out and we do our performance. The energy was just drained, but once we got out there and we as a group came together and we did it, we nailed it, and we watched the man burn, and we get back to camp, the energy is just at an all-time high. And you in a sense are kind of like a rock star. I think that was built up a little bit more beforehand to me, by some of the people, because you have to get these special lanyards to go into the Great Circle. And so the night after the burn, or the night of the burn, when you go around to the bars and you meet people and people see you with that, it's kind of like, oh, you were there doing that, thank you, and how was it, and blah,
cool.
blah, blah. And so it turns into this thing. So we were all just stoked, and we all decided to, like, Riley and Marilyn actually finally came out with us that night because they had been so busy having to stay back and manage things at camp, and there was always something popping up. So it was really great for them to come out. And we ended up, like, I told everybody that was coming with our group, I said, I'm not trying to go to any more stages or see any more performers. I'm going to go see art tonight. We're going to go on adventures. We're going to go ride. If you want to come with, then you could come with. If not, and people were like, yeah, we're down. So we go, and we had a big group, and we rocked it. We saw a fraction of what's out there, but we, managed to do more than we had done the whole time in terms of that. And I was on a good one. I was definitely partying, and managed to do an all-nighter. And then we go out to the Deep Playa again to go see Rufus Du Sol out in the same spot that I was talking about. And this time we had gotten up onto one of the art cars that was parked there on this like deck up there, and we're just chilling, and the sun was already up. It was already way past sunrise, and the day just flipped and turned because the drinking is what did it. There's bottles there, and champagne, and then there's whiskey, and even some like DMT pen going around and stuff like that. And I was just like indulging in just about everything. And next thing I know, this was the last day. This was Sunday.
It's the morning of the day. Everybody's got to get the fuck out.
Yeah, after I'd already pretty much been up for 24 hours,
Yeah.
I would say I slept about an average of 1.5 to 2 hours, not deep sleep either, each day. Yeah. So, adjusting to real life after that was really bad. I even hallucinated and experienced, some serious stuff that was similar to what I experienced on my way back from the Oregon Eclipse a few years ago. That's another tale for another day. Anyway, I'm out there. Next thing I know is apparently, because I had passed out and blacked out, and apparently I had wanted to jump off of the art car, and a friend that somebody who became a good friend of mine out there was a really awesome guy. These guys from New York were part of our camp. One of them, his name was Charlie. He, I guess, had to tackle me and walked me out away from there. And he's like, yo, you gotta, I'm sorry to do this to you, but you gotta get back to camp because, there's the sheriffs around. Cause I guess what happened was we were partying up there and things were getting kind of like loose, and sheriffs had started walking around and were going to start to make their way up there, and it would have been really bad. So we end up,
good on you, Charlie.
Except I was in absolutely no condition to go anywhere or do anything. And at this point, I vaguely recall things like, kind of going into a dreamlike state. Apparently Kevin was going to go with me, but he went to go find his bike. And by the time he came back, I was gone. So I embarked on my own journey back. Next thing I know, I'm waking up.
The head shake I'm doing right now.
Yeah. So I'm waking up in a chair outside of somebody's like camp and their RV, and they were like, oh, sorry, we're just going to be cleaning up. Like, we're not kicking you out, but you just know if you want to, I just don't think you want to stay here. So they basically were kicking me out. At least that's what I took from it. And I was like, at this point, I'm not even sure what's going on. Like, I'm still so drunk and half, like, half conscious that where I was and what was going on and the state that I was in and how I felt physically, I felt that this was a bad dream, a nightmare, like something that you're trying to wake up from.
Mhm.
Like, you know, when like you have to go pee and you're trying to wake up to do that and you're just like still stuck in this like bad dream. Because at this point, you know, it's already Sunday and I later found out that where I was on the complete opposite end of the city, like the furthest end. And over here at this part, there was nothing that I recognized, no landmarks that I recognized. There was no art up, so it didn't look
They were taking it down.
like there was no art or signs up that really like made it seem like Burning Man. So in my state of mind, I was thinking and feeling like I was in this bad dream, like in this shanty town, and I just needed water. Like I'm like so thirsty and I'm dying for water, and it happened to be like the hottest part of the day. And so I end up riding and walking my bike, and I go past this like ticket booth window thing. So like I go up to this girl that's there, and I'm just like, I don't even know what I said. I was like, oh, like where am I? Like I don't know where I am. Kind of just like a baby, like, you know, like that gets lost at the mall. Like,
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, she's like, oh, you know, like I'm sorry I can't help you, but there's a ranger station right here if you want to go talk to them. So I go talk to them, and these guys look at me like they're, oh, dude, like do you need some water? So they give me some water. And I'm just like, what's going on? Like, where are you supposed to be? And I'm like, oh no, like what camp do you belong with? And that's when I realized, oh shit, like I'm still at Burning Man. Like this is Burning Man. This is where I'm at.
True.
So I was like 345 in A, you know, and they're like, okay. So then they show me on the map. I'm literally on the other side. And I have to go.
What was that
straight.
moment like? What did that feel like? Really fucking dial in.
It was just like,
and paint me a picture.
Yeah, I was just like, you know, I was just like, fuck. But at the same time, in my mind, as I always have when I get super, super fucked up and I'm dreading stuff, it's nobody's fault but mine. You know, like this is like my thing that I do to myself. It's just like I'm beating myself up, but at the same time, it's nobody's fault but mine. Like I just gotta fucking do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I go and I set off across the playa on this thing, and of course my bike by this time had having problems with the chain and the crank because of all the dust.
Uh-huh.
And so it's extremely hard. Mind you, I also had this. I don't know where I got it. I'm actually staring at it right now. This extra large fur jacket that might have even been from that camp where I passed out. And because I do remember her saying, don't forget this, and like giving it to me. So it might have been somebody else's there.
Shit.
And having her think that it was mine because it matched Hector, you know, because I didn't have a jacket. And so I didn't know. She must have given it to me, and I took it.
Probably actually killed and skinned an animal and made a jacket.
Right, a wild person.
Yeah.
But so anyways, this freaking extra large furry thing is also adding to the heat of me riding across, and then a dust storm comes, and I didn't have my mask or my goggles. Yeah, a dust storm comes, and then I'm just and you know, I just muscle through and somehow make it back right to the camp, just to the foot of like the camp, not even to my tent, not even to like anything, and just to the communal area and just drop down on the floor. And that's where there was a couple of the friends that were at the actual art car in that morning too. They were like, oh, David, like they were like, oh, you all right? Like they were just like concerned. They're like, you remember this? Do you remember that? And I'm just like, pass out for a little bit, wake up. I'm just dying from what I was imagining was a heat stroke, and people, you know, having to take care of me, feeding me electrolytes and stuff. And then, you know, at the same time, they're trying to tear down as much stuff at the camp and asking me for help. And I'm just feeling like a useless piece of crap. So, you know, all of this, you know, because I have to say no, you know, and so therefore, like, you know, I'm being like a freaking sparkle pony. And this was the burn, looking, like I said, chewing me up and spitting me out.
You
and
never
saying,
go for a sparkle pony.
Yeah, you know, and lessons learned, man. It was certainly.
How many times you gotta learn that lesson though, Dave?
Yeah.
How many times?
That was actually the pinnacle, that was the pinnacle. And then, well, I have to say afterwards at Mashadi's party last week was kind of the deal breaker. Like I know I always say this, but I'm pretty much like just trying not to drink at all. So don't offer me anything to drink. Just don't. I just don't want to do it anymore. I'm just like over it. You know.
Yeah, fair
And
enough,
I
man.
think that
It takes a lot more strength to admit when you're like, maybe I should like reevaluate this.
I think my body is really just telling me, like,
Yeah.
it's more than ever. It's saying, like, fuck you. You're gonna get to this point every time if you do it, and you're gonna be miserable. So you have to learn your lesson. And to be fair, like I even learned it. Like day drinking there is just like a no for me. Like I don't. And the first couple of
Oh,
days,
that
that's
sounds
what you
awful.
do because you're excited, but like
I
the
probably
day
would too,
drinking,
but like, yeah, I would learn. I would
yeah,
remember, like, oh yeah, I hate this. That's right.
it's fucking hot and just so I don't know. I think that next year, and I say when I go next year because I just have all of these other plans now. I have all these other things I want to bring and contribute. I to give people, but also the art car thing was just something else. Like for me, the biggest part about this place was it's everything that someone like me needs, or the only thing the main thing each year to look forward to for someone like myself, the inner child, the person that needs
Mhm.
to let out that inner child every year and to do art for the sake of making art and creating and having fun, and for the cacophony aspect of it, for not taking things seriously, for the ideas that I have are not anything that you would ever like want to show at any respectable art gallery or showing of any kind, but it's perfect for Burning Man because people will understand what it is out there, like it's made for that. And it's and for me, this is exactly like what I've been wanting to do. And it's everything like Meow Wolf as far as like that interactive experience and creating this art, but it just really shows you like what people can do when they are motivated to do it, and when they're excited to do something, because these people are not getting paid to do this.
Yeah.
They're spending money and hours and hours and hours and year and all year to prep, and extra money to get it out there, and dealing with everything to hope that it works, and to make something that people can literally climb on, stand on, you step all over. And the amount of imagination and creativity that goes into these installations and these art cars is second to none. Like I don't think that there is anywhere else in the world that has that going for it at one time. I really can't imagine that. I mean, not to say that there
I
aren't,
think you're right,
you know,
man.
yeah,
I
and
mean,
it's
all I
that's
know is from from stories, from pictures, from documentaries, and just general interest in all this shit, and what I've seen, and I what I know for sure is that is not anything real close coming to an understanding of like what's really going on out there, and I think that
right.
is completely true.
Yeah. And I've talked to so many people about all of the stuff that we mentioned in previous episodes about the rumors that the lease, or the year that they like had on the land for a permit, like because they leased out all these years, or they would apply each year for a permit. I guess something happened to where their agreement was up, and so like now the administration, or the state of Nevada is trying to implement way stricter and things that would just really just not make it Burning Man, or make it the experience. It would really hinder the experience for everybody in so many ways that people are worried that they're not going to do it next year. There's talk that there's already land purchased and owned in other places, and I truthfully just can't imagine it anywhere else. As much as it would be cool to do a festival with that kind of creativity in the forest, it would still be something different.
Yeah.
I think that the dust, because also the one thing about this is that at least it's not hilly. It's not like lightning in a bottle where you're walking up and down all these hills and stuff. Like it's far and it's a lot of work and it's hot, but it's crazy. It's just this flat ground that you could ride around on, and you could burn fire anywhere. Like you could light up fire anywhere as long as you don't, leave fuel cans don't touch the ground, or you don't have stuff touch the ground. Like, like that's like one of the most liberating things and it's why it's one of the biggest places for fire spinners, and because they go out there and they could just
That's
light
awesome,
up
man.
and walk around and do this sort of thing. I cannot imagine it being anywhere else. And I just can't put anything else before this in terms of my priorities for going out there. I have to experience it as much as I can before it goes away, if it ever does go away.
So what's
I'm
one
one of those
piece
people.
of like wisdom you could impart with somebody who has, first I would say, to somebody who has been to festivals and things like that, who has generally kind of felt this, because that's most of what we talk about in the show. What would you say to those people, and then what would you say to people who don't know the shit at all?
I would just say to the people that go to festivals, understand that no matter how much experience you have, like, this is something completely different. You're gonna be able to get by, no doubt, but you're gonna learn some shit. And don't try to expect or treat it like a festival. Don't go with the same mindset, looking for lineups and stuff like that. Just go
Fuck your burn.
and fucking, like, yeah, fuck your burn. Just like open up and let it transform you, because it will. All of that cliche shit that people make fun of about going and getting transformed, and people making their posts that people roll their eyes out, like, it's because it's true. It might not be like, okay, you're going and you're woke as fuck and you're a better man for it, but you absolutely transform. And
Don't let anybody fucking
Yeah,
try to
fuck their
shame
burn.
you into
Exa-
into that. No. Fuck the people who,
Yeah.
who would actually legitimately like judge or roll eyes and shit like that. Fuck them.
Just know
That's
that
your experience.
just know
They
that
don't
it's
get it.
out of just know that sort of thing is out of, like, I have a sympathy for it as well, because of it's somewhat out of bitterness and FOMO.
Mhm.
But you'll get there when you get there, and when you get there, just fucking let it let it do what it's gonna do, and enjoy it, and ride it out, ride that storm. And for the people who've never gone to anything like that, don't let it deter you either, because I don't think that their experience going to festivals is actually really going to give them much more of a leg up on you. I think you're
Oh, okay.
you're kind of walking into
Interesting.
the same fucking thing. I mean, it's so different, man. It really, it's not a festival, because you don't get that same. It's just a place. It's a place where you can go and be fucking free. It's like Neverland, man. Like,
So
I don't know.
So then,
It's-
last question. Then, as we're rounding out our hour here, what's your like biggest takeaway from that? If you could distill some things into a lesson, what's the thing that you hold in your heart now that you took home with you?
You have to learn how to let go, mainly of expectations, for one. As we've said, don't go with major expectations, but you'll learn as you're there about letting go of your expectations in life. You're not like, goals. I'm not saying don't create goals and not to be driven for stuff, but let go of your expectations that sway your mood and don't allow you to live in the moment. But also letting go of I guess I'll finish it off by saying that after all of that, I did end up staying for the temple burn, because my ride partner, my road dog Marky, was already also kind of like worried about getting back to work and stuff, and so we were considering just not going to the temple burn. We'd already seen the man burn, and we were just going to leave and get out of there, because Exodus, that's another thing, they call it Exodus, could take anywhere from like 3 to 8 hours to get out, because they literally narrow it down to one road to get. Anyways, but by the time I was able to regenerate, get some energy, get our shit packed up in the car, and we realized, like, everybody's going to the temple burn, we have to go. And somebody else, this a gentleman I met from Australia who's part of our camp, named Legend, he, like, when I told him, like, I don't think we're gonna stay, he was like, bro, you have to stay, like, you have to go see the temple burn. Like, that's like what this whole fucking thing is about. Like, that's what this whole experience is about, how you round it out and how you top it off. And it's an extremely cathartic experience. And I mean, I didn't even talk much about the temple itself, but that is the most emotional place that I've ever walked into. It's literally this beautifully designed structure, this temple of plywood, that was designed, and it's different each year. Designed very like modern, but like with wood, and it's designed eloquently, and they have all of this writing, and you see some deep fucking shit from other people. Like, you know, trauma is just put there and left there, and you know, you in there, there's like, you just let go, and you know, seeing it burn, and the man burning, there's a lot of high energy, and it's like destruction, because you know, that's part of the cycle of life. As they say, you know, building shit's awesome, but sometimes you gotta
sounds
just,
like it's
you know,
a general that was the general theme and kind of the big
Yeah.
takeaway there.
Yeah, you
And
gotta
I like
destroy
that.
it.
That's kind of a beautiful like motto, distilled so simple.
Yeah.
I like that. Fuck your
Yeah.
word. Fuck
So
your
it's like
expectations,
destroy
your
it.
plans.
That's the man.
Yeah.
You destroy the man, but the temple, while the man burn, there's energy, loud, you know, craziness. The temple is very cathartic, very quiet, and just, you know, very, everybody's just mellow. One of our friends actually did break out into a howl that we thought everybody was going to get mad at, but the howl went on for like a second or two. Everybody else went. It was a lot of energy. Then it got quiet again, and you just sit there and you wait and you watch this thing burn. And I've heard a lot of stuff, arguments from people complaining or getting upset about it because of, you know, what's going on in the Amazon, and I have lots of things to say that how that comparison is nowhere near the same, being that this, you know, is a controlled fire by,
That's
you know,
really stupid.
experts that
That
know,
makes no sense.
you know, what's going on.
Fuck, that,
you know,
they don't deserve
it's just,
this explanation.
yeah. So anyway, that would be my thing. You know, you got to go and you got to let go of stuff and be ready to come back next year as a new person, ready to add more to it and let go again.
Well, thank you for giving me an episode title, making that real easy for me. And like, that was beautiful, man. So shit. You got anything to plug now that you're back on Earth?
Fuck. Well, you know, we do have Art in the Park coming up on the 22nd. We are doing a Reading Rainbow theme. If you bring a book to donate, you will receive a free or a personalized poem by either Halston Torres or myself. And you could also bring a book to trade with people, but we're, you know, celebrating the art of the written word this Friday, which is going to be tomorrow. We have Mutate LA. We're back at it again. It's going to be really fun. And aside from that, I know there's just a bunch of decompression parties, people trying to set stuff up. I'm for sure just going to be focused on trying to fulfill some of the artistic projects that I was supposed to start before going, but you know, really just brainstorming with people and trying to get stuff moving for next year. That's
There you
where
go,
I'm at.
man.
Yeah.
Beautiful
So-
shit, brother. Well, you know, while you guys are at it, make sure you guys follow us on social media at Let It Bleed Cast, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and make sure to subscribe to the show and get all these beautiful words right into your ear holes every week, because we are back now and we are going to be promoting some new shit. And you know what? While you're on that, Graham, go ahead and type in at Nobody Cares Phil and follow that handsome gentleman and flip it around, Phil Nobody Cares for Twitter. And you, my friend.
Yeah. Well, you can find me always at Hoodrat Stuff with 3 Fs. Follow the Psychedelic Lions Den. I mean, we've just been putting so much more content out.
I've been liking that feed.
in different meetings. So yeah, you know, meeting a lot more artists, getting more, not only visual art out there, but really like starting to push more into all the other aspects. So follow us on Facebook, the Psychedelic Lions Den. Keep up with the events. We're going to be doing more stuff. Instagram is psychedelic_lions_den. And yeah, just, you know, stay tuned with that. With this, we've got all kinds of things going on, which you could find me plugging on my own social media. So stay tuned with that. You know, like the fuck out of Let It Bleed. Share with all your friends and tell them we're really going to start to have a lot more people back on the show now that I have been meeting a lot more fucking people.
That's your job. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. So now that's another thing that I'm really excited about, is I met so many people that are not far away that can come and, you know, we can get back to the essence of the show and really, you know, really push for just that passion. So yeah,
Love it,
that's
man.
all.
Love it.
Well, it was great talking, dude. I am super stoked to get this one out there, and I mean, I want to thank everybody for listening. And just want to thank you for tuning in, everybody. So as always, let it bleed.
Thanks.